Let's go over to the US, where the people Trump has chosen to join him in his administration are turning out to be excellent communicators. First one I'll show you is Tom Homan. He is the new border czar in the United States. Remember, the previous border czar was Kamala Harris, who is potentially the worst communicator you've ever seen in American politics, probably up there with Nancy Pelosi, maybe even worse than Nancy Pelosi. But Tom Homan, he is not pulling his punches. A reporter from the UK bailed him up and said, all these people, apparently they're not getting water when they're being deported. She goes on to then say, well, why are you pulling out these military planes? Oh, is this just to show that you're a big boy? He wasn't having a bar of it. This is beautiful.
Are you treating migrants humanely?
Yes.
But there's been reports of them on planes with no water,
that was a bunch of
complaining.
Crap. That was a bunch of crap.
What do you mean a bunch of crap?
ICE detention facilities have the highest detention standards in the industry. The men and women at ICE are professionals. We do this for a living. And I can tell you, I ran ICE for years. I was the first director of ICE came up through the ranks. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's a crime. And when you cause a crisis as big as the Biden administration caused, when you overwhelm the Border Patrol, when they can't do their national security job, that's when the fentanyl come across, killed 250,000 Americans. That's when you have a 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when you have a record number of no-inspected terrorists coming across an open border. President Trump's going to secure the border as promised to the American people, and we're going to enforce immigration laws. That's what we're going to do.
Now, yes, he does talk a little bit fast, but what he says makes a great deal of sense. It's good to see common sense, straightforward operators back in the administration in the United States. They say what they mean and they mean what they say. So enter Carolyn Levitt. She is the new press secretary for Donald Trump. She seems to be a good operator as well. She hit the ground running today with her first press conference. She also spoke about illegal migration. And how good is this? To bat away a question from a reporter about whether the illegals actually had a criminal record.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
Just chef's kiss. Superb stuff. And she's also said, we're going to let everyone into this room. It's not just the accredited journalists anymore, the people who believe they deserve to be there because they have a degree that they may as well wipe their bums with. So, I'm more important than anyone else. She's gone, well, no, actually, a lot of people get their news and their information from social media these days. So why would we not try to make it easier for people to find out what's going on? Take a look.
The Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just the legacy media who are seated in this room. Because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low. Our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration. We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room.
Now, look, I'm sure some of the analysis from TikTok influencers will be less than searing, but that's okay. But how good to see a press sec after Karine Jean-Pierre, who, you kind of got to give it to her. She was a great spin doctor in that she knew how to lie through her teeth. But she has shown herself, Carolyn Levitt, already to be a straight shooter. She's a straight communicator, and that's exactly what you need when you're dealing with what will be a hostile media in Trump's second term.
Well, Karine Jean-Pierre's claim to fame as the press secretary was, of course, she was the first woman of colour who was openly a lesbian to ever stand behind that podium. And she herself called herself a historic figure, which was a wonderful demonstration.
As all historic figures do.
If you've ever seen one. But this young lady's only 27 years old, which
youngest
is quite
to ever do the
remarkable.
job.
Youngest to do the job, and clearly chosen not because she's the youngest, but because she's very, very good at it.